Hi fantasy managers, and welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video I'm going to go through my wildcard side for game week 35. I have pressed the button, I have wildcarded, so I'm going to go through my players that I've selected, the reasons why, and then look forward to how it implicates the up and coming game week. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, please give it a like, don't forget to subscribe, and in the meantime, let's take a look. Okay, I am going to launch straight into this. I have pressed the wild card on my... as I've mentioned already. If you haven't and you're and ahhing about 35, I will say that possibly if you don't need to or you don't fancy playing it in 35, 37 could work. If you're looking at bench boosting, maybe wildcard in 36 would be slightly better to then bench boost in 37 with the doubles. But for me, I've decided to cash in on those Chelsea and Tottenham doubles in 35 and do it now, because those two teams are also doubling in 37, so why not manage to get both set of fixtures in? And that's my reasoning behind doubling. I'm going to launch into it. I'm going to do it in terms of players. We're going to skip to the end where I've gone through with the teams and what they look like in 35, 36, 37, 38. That is absolutely fine. These are the players that I've chosen. Now, I've definitely targeted Manchester City. And I'm going to make an amendment on this straight away. I've got Haaland is an absolute shoo-in. I've got to go for him. Foden was absolutely one I wanted to put in. He was an obvious choice. But as you'll see at the end, I'm going to tell you why I've opted not to have him in. Defensively, very difficult to find any defenders with good value, except maybe Arsenal. We'll look at those in a minute. But I did want a Man City one because they do have great fixtures and that double, albeit 2 away. And DS looks about the most nailed on for me at the moment. He has 10 out of the last 11 games he started. I would not say he's the most exciting pick, but for me, he has to be the one that plays most, and that is what's most important for me in my wildcard. So Erling Haaland and DS come in, and Foden is definitely an option. And it's one I think I'm just going to pass up on at the moment. I have gone for 3 Newcastle players. Gordon, I think, is just an absolute must. He's been brilliant. I'll be the first to admit that when he first joined Newcastle for a ridiculous was about 40 million. I just didn't see why they're paying. Now, clearly, they know what they're talking about and I don't. Gordon looks brilliant. Underlying stat looks great. Their fixtures look fantastic. The double doesn't look too bad, and they're scoring lots of goals. They look in good form. Isaac's been at the heart of that. With Wilson out, he looks an absolute shoe-in on penalties up front. He has to play. At the moment, I've got Trippier in. Now, he has got a flag on. I have the money in this side to get to Trippier. If team news comes in and he doesn't, or we get latest news that he's injured still, I think I would move to Kraft because I don't want to miss any of these fixtures. And he looks pretty nailed at the moment as well, with Lascelles out and Botman out. So I'd love Trippier, and we just have to keep an eye on him. Underlying stats look great. Newcastle actually keeping a few clean sheets lately as well. So I think Newcastle, I've got to have 3 of their players in. The other team as well that I'm definitely going to triple up on will be Chelsea. Cole Palmer, one of the stories of the season. He absolutely has to be in this side. Double in 35 and then another double in 37, plus West Ham at home and Bournemouth in between. Even if you don't think Chelsea are particularly flying this season, which they're definitely not, those fixtures, that extra fixture over the top of the other doubles, and 2 if you're not doubling, is too good to resist. Palmer's at the heart of that. Nicholas Jackson, I've been stung before earlier on in the season with him, but he didn't particularly produce it. His underlying stats look great. His actual stats, his expected stats, that certainly outweigh his actual stats. But when I've seen him, he's definitely passing the eye test. Chelsea look decent, and he looks absolutely nailed up front as well, with Nkunku out and Broja out on loan. So I think he looks great, and he feels like he possesses more of an assist threat than anything else. But Chelsea are scoring goals, so I've got no issues playing Nicholas Jackson. It was a choice between him and Højlund. I think it just makes more sense with the extra fixture to play Jackson. Gusto, defensively as well, with Reece James out, he looks pretty decent at the back and offers a bit going forward. 5 assists, 18 games. He looks the real deal. So I quite like that Chelsea triple up. No issues with them at all. So we've got 3. A possible triple up on Man City, definitely triple up on Newcastle, and 3 from Chelsea. And then I'm going for, initially went for Petrovic in goal, and I thought, no, I'm going to go with Nana in goal. He looks, basically the Man United fixtures look decent. At home to Burnley and away at Palace, don't mind. Then they do have a double, they're both at home. I don't particularly have a lot of faith in that Manchester United defence. There's not many other teams I would have either. and he is doubling. So I've gone for Onana. Garnacho's the other one that I'm definitely picking. I don't have the money to get to Fernandes, but I definitely would if I could. The only thing was that obviously there's the stuff about his tweets and liking them. That's water under the bridge apparently, but I will keep an eye on that this week to just check he is still going to be playing in the FA Cup and then at home to Sheffield United. And if he is, great, happy times, he'll come in for Burnley. The other player and the other team that was worth considering is Tottenham. They double in 35, Arsenal, Chelsea. It's not a great double. Then they also double in 37, which is Burnley and Man City both at home. So that's a better double. But Liverpool away in the meantime. The last game of the season, Sheffield United away. They have some tough fixtures. I just didn't want to go defensively then. Son feels like he's as fixture proof as they get. He looks like I think he can score against absolutely anyone. On playing, staying down the middle. I just think I don't want to go into those fixtures without him. I've got more confidence in him than anyone else to actually return. But I don't think there's any other Tottenham players I really would want to go for, especially when there's so much demand for the midfield and there's so many options for you. So he would come in and the side would look like this. Now, I've gone in that midfield. The one player that I've not talked about and I've dropped Foden for is Saka. And I just don't think I can go without him, and I'll show you why. In 35, the side looks really good, and I'm actually benching 3 Arsenal players. I've got White, Gabriel and Saka, but the rest of the side looks brilliant. I've got 4 double game week players. The rest of them got green fixtures. I really like it. I've got absolutely no issues playing Saka, but I don't know away at Tottenham or against anyone, but I don't know who I'd drop for him. So that's a nice problem to have. In game week 36, then I have Bournemouth at home for the Arsenal players. So all of a sudden, Saka, White and Gabriel all come in. And then, in fact, I'm leaving. Again, it's a decent bench, but I don't need to transfer, so I'd roll one over for 37. I've got Garnacho on the bench away at Palace. Gusto out of West Ham. Trippier's not fit and Kraft's still playing. I could possibly rather play Gusto instead of Kraft. But again, I can judge that when it comes. And you know what? By game week 36, there's bound to be something that's been completely unknown just crop up and sort of destroy some of our plans. But again, Chelsea at home to West Ham, I'm happy to play Jackson and Palmer. I will mention that on the bench I've got Altai, who is the reserve keeper for Man United. So I've just literally doubled up on them in goal. Just if Onana didn't play, Altai comes in, and I'm happy to play Onana in all games. So 37, we're going big double game week. Again, look at that. I've got 10 double game week players. By this time, if I wanted to move Garnacho out, who has a decent fixture, for another double game week player, maybe Foden at that point, I could do that. And Garnacho could come out for Foden in any case if you wanted from the start. The Arsenal players away at Man U, again, wouldn't mind playing Saka, but I think that the rest of the side's just a better option. And then in 38, as it comes to the final game of the season, we've got all greens. Again, at home to Everton, Arsenal, all those players come in. So for game week 38 and 36, Arsenal players do just look really good. And I've got enough depth in this squad to actually set up me on the side, to actually be able to bench them. And by this time, I could have options of making other transfers. Haven't even talked about captaincy. That would be something on a week basis, but it looks like Haaland's a decent shout on a couple of them, especially the double game week. But the other thing that I'm all too aware, last game of the season, who knows what state we're going to be. Man City could have wrapped the title up by then. So will we Foden, if I want to bring him in, or even Haaland be playing at that point? Arsenal, they may, obviously, if they have wrapped the title up, who will play? And there's lots of squad rotation. So saving 2 transfers for 38 might be a reasonable way forward, because you just don't know who's going to play with that. I mean, looking at that bench there, I've got Son on the bench away to Sheffield United. I think I'd probably rather have him in Gordon, but we can sort that out nearer the time. This is not going to be the final absolute side. I'm guaranteed there'll be something that happened during this game week that will make me tweak it. But essentially, this is my first draft of my wildcard side for game week 35. That's it then for this one then, guys. Thank you for watching. That is my wildcard side for game week 35. I will probably, if there's time, release another one towards the end of the week where I will go through any amendments or changes, because stuff will happen. It's a double game week. I'm going to expect some injuries, suspensions. Anything could happen to tweak this side. Also, team news will take place as well. But let me know in the comments below if you are wildcarding. Are there any players that you think I've completely overlooked that I should be considering? In the meantime, we'll come back at you with team selection, watch lists, all that good stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And in the meantime, speak to you soon.